Well, that brings us to the next Hollywood review for this weekend. That's David Fincher's much-awaited Gone Girl.
Nick Dunn, you're probably the most hated man in America right now.
Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher and based upon the global bestseller by Gillian Flynn, unearths the secrets at the heart of a modern marriage. On the occasion of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunn, played by Ben Affleck, reports that his beautiful wife Amy, a role essayed by Rosamund Pike, has gone missing. Under pressure from the police and a growing media frenzy, Nick's portrait of a blissful union begins to crumble. Soon his lies, deceits and strange behavior have everyone asking the same dark question. Did Nick Dunn kill his wife?
People who are volunteering to help find Amy.
Well, this is firstly a David Fincher movie. Fahad, I don't think anyone who's watching the show needs endorsement, from the two of us. Purely because here's a director, I think, who's at the top of his game. He also made the movie called The Game. Since then, he's upped his game to a huge extent.
Considerably.
Considerably. Yes, there was Fight Club, which remains a cult classic even now. There was
Seven.
Well, Seven, of course, but more recently, Social Network, which I think is the finest docudrama that I've ever seen on the big screen. But this is more along the lines of Zodiac, which is also his film, purely because you just don't know what's going to happen next in this movie, is really what makes David Fincher the kind of talent or directorial talent that he is at this point.
Absolutely, and given that there are millions of readers out there, such as myself, who've read Gone Girl, had huge burden of expectation on Fincher, the fact that he got this girl, Gillian Flynn, the author, to write the screenplay, who has now become his collaborator on several other projects, including a TV project that he's doing. So it's interesting that he's really found it, and Fincher always works with the same team. His cinematographer, his music directors, who've done a fantastic job, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross with the background score. And so this is ensemble filmmaking. And that brings me to the actors. I mean, I think after a long time, Ben Affleck has really hit his stride. He's in good nick as Nick Dunn. But the real surprise package is somebody who I've actually met and worked with, Rosamund Pike. And I saw her on the London West End when she invited me to see a play that she's doing called Hitchcock Blonde. Mm-hmm. And that icy blonde, almost bitch, that character, she was born to play it, and she's done Miranda Frost and James Bond and all of that. It's taken a lot of time in the sidelines and the side wings, and she's finally come into her own. She owns this film, and she is just absolutely brilliant.
Well, there is a reason why we've skipped straight to the verdict of this film rather than actually deal with the OMG moments, purely because here is a movie that really unravels or actually reveals itself by the minute, and there is no way in hell we're going to reveal to you certain scenes that really become the crux of the film, because we want, at least I would like you to watch the film. This is one of those movies that is politically incorrect to start with in terms of all its characters, but as it gradually when you get drawn into all the characters, you realize that this is a movie that actually sides with no one in particular. It's about 140 minutes long. It is one of those rare Hollywood movies that I've seen where I felt it could have even been longer. It's a pure weekend pe dekho from my end.
Certainly weekend pe dekho, theatre mein dekho. David Fincher has been very fastidious about censorship in India. He chose not to release Girl with the Dragon Tattoo only because the censors had been so merciless in chopping his film. And so he didn't allow it to be released. With this film, he had his team monitor it, and they've done some very interesting editing with digital effects so that the offending portions, offending for the Indian censors, have been camouflaged without destroying the integrity of the soundtrack. So yes, you can watch it in the theaters. You will not get to see Ben Affleck in the nude. You will not get to see Rosamund Pike in the nude. But hey, you can always watch that later if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a good film to be watched in the cinema, go get it right now.
Well, that brings us to the end of Friday Double Bill. It was, I think, a great weekend at the theaters. At least Gone Girl saved the day for us. Let's find out what next week is like. Do come back to the show and give us suggestions on how we can improve it.